Good morning. Excuse me. Happy Mother's Day. Realize I haven't practiced talking this morning yet, so you can be my practice. And hello on Mother's Day. It takes a long time before it actually kicks in. That's so interesting. Hello on Sunday morning. Delighted to be here. I hope that you are able to enjoy your Sunday morning, whatever shape that happens to take. I'm planning today to talk about where the labyrinth and the numerology intersect, because those are sort of my two things that get me really excited. And I was extremely blessed in 2013 when I had an experience, what Maslow calls a peak experience, where I received a spiritual download. Sounds really woo-woo, doesn't it? I am pretty woo-woo, I guess. That's kind of where we go with that. Anyway, I suddenly, and without any linear process, I suddenly understood how the number grid and the labyrinth work together. And I have been lucky enough to be able to work with it, do some writing about it. One day there will be a book. I don't know when. You would think when you're home for all these weeks it would happen, but it hasn't yet. Good morning, Nikki. How good to see you. All right. So if you're interested, where do I begin? Let me have some coffee. I was here until after midnight last night, which was exciting and wonderful. I had a fabulous time. So enjoying being a queen of isolation. But lately my days haven't been quite so long or so people-y. It's lovely. So I will pause for coffee. If you're willing to give me, I only need the day and the month of your birth, and I'm going to figure out just part of the path. I'll show you how it works in a minute. I need that. Okay. So what let me do it better with this one, but I don't have many of these cards left. So the number grid that we were talking about yesterday, thank you. It's where did my number grid cards go? That would be a good question too. Okay, number grid, the 9 digits fit into a grid like a tic-tac-toe. They go growing from the bottom, the way all things grow out of the earth. And they're in that configuration and they don't move. Anytime I'm working with the grid, that's how they look. So the labyrinth, this is called a 3-circuit classical design, and it fits exactly the number grid. The everywhere where there is a design called the seed from which we build a labyrinth, which is essentially that central cross and then the 4 points, and you can see there the lines stop at those 4 points. So it's really logical to put them together. And one of the calculations in numerology allows you, it divides life up into 4 pinnacles, they're called. It's essentially 4 periods. It's 1 until your late 20s, early 30s, depending on your numbers, where that goes. And oh, look at this. This is so cool. People are up early. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So those 4, because we have 3 paths and a center, those 4 can be superimposed into this labyrinth. So the first one, which is the one that lasts until you're a young adult or moving into adulting full time, I can do that as a really simple calculation. Good morning, Allison. And we can, it's so interesting. We've got a March 9th and a March 10th. And I'm a March as well, although you're Pisces sign later. Okay, so if I do it, then it'll make more sense, and then I can do it for other people too. So, March, how am I going to do this? I never did find another good pen after my one died yesterday. So 9 and 3. Okay. So the outside of your path, because we come in at the outside on this. Yours is I hope this is going to show up. That's looking really pale now. This is March the 9th. The outer circle, which is called the container, because you come in at the entrance here and you go all the way around before you turn and go back. So in a lot of ways, this is the energy that encloses the path that you're going to be taking in life and sets the tone for it. And do believe you came deliberately. You absolutely came deliberately on that day to have these vibrations, right? So your outer path is a number 6, which is one of the emotional numbers. So working all of the work that you do going forward, and I'd have to do a bunch more calculating to find out what the inner paths are. I'm not willing to do that right now, this minute. But everything as you grow and learn and develop and expand into your fullness and you're living your best life, or however you call it, all of that growth is contained within an intention to understand and to interpret and to express your emotional plane. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't even know who I'm talking to. This is March the 9th. It's Michelle. And you didn't, I don't know how old you are to know if you're still struggling with finding out, or if you can look back and see that is true. Very often when we have an emotional outer ring, it is the first family is not necessarily really good at expressing and teaching to express emotions. So it is something of a challenge. Okay. Oh, Alison, you've got a March as well. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't even see that everyone was posting. It doesn't. Okay. I will move more quickly. I will, because I get really hyper about this stuff. I love it. This is what I came to the world to do. Okay. So the 10th of March, which is Nikki. I recognize your name from yesterday. Okay, so you also have a green outer path. Your container is emotional as well. So I hope you hadn't gone to get a coffee while I was talking to the other date, because your I didn't even need to do that. I could have picked up the other one. So yes, everything I just said. Coming to a first family who I honestly, absolutely, totally believe that before we're back in the physical, we have contracted with those particular people that they will prepare the place where you can come and be born into that group and be the teacher that they need, and they will provide the environment that you need in order to go on your intended path. So being with people for whom emotional expression might be a bit of a challenge, that I think has happened to a lot of us who are still living. It's one of the works that we're doing. Okay, March the 2nd. Oh, March the 2nd is pretty sure this is she gets a blue path all around. Did you say it's, yeah, daughter. Hello, Alison's daughter. How lovely, mother-daughter morning. I like that. Okay, so your outer path, young child of Alison, is a blue one. And blue is the color of the mental plane. And where where your mom struggles with stuff around feelings and expression and things that we locate in the heart. In our culture, that's why it's green, because it's that heart chakra. If you know the chakra system, you are much more contained by the mental plane and the thinking and the communicating. Blue is the throat chakra. The 1 and the 8 are the two numbers that live on the mental plane. So you can sometimes be very thinky, and it's lovely that you have come to teach your mom how to think through instead of feeling and reacting. And she is there as a model for you to connect with your emotional side and not just rationalize and live on the surface about everything. So that feels like a really lovely combination. And I hope that's how it's working out for you. Okay, December. I see December. Who is this? Meg. Hi, new name. I've seen lots of people this weekend. I don't remember the name of Meg. Lovely. Okay, so the 29th, got lost in all the celebrations as a child. Okay, you also have a 1. This is funny how you're coming at me in groups. So everything I just said to Alison's daughter is true for you. Well, maybe not everything, because your mom isn't here. But that your growth within your life and your explorations of yourself and your spirit and your amazingness are all contained within a context of thought, of being on the mental plane, of being able to understand rationally and do sequencing and do those things that sometimes, depending on what we're doing and where we're living, can keep us disconnected from our emotions. So it's a lot easier to sit on the surface and do the thoughts rather than allow things to sink in and feel. And your life, by giving yourself this rational container inside which you're going to work, you can know that you're going to be safe when you're able to find a place that where you can explore your emotions and you can unpack some of the stuff that you've maybe stuffed down because they didn't feel rational and sensible in the beginning. Then yeah, you're there's real safety. I don't know why I keep coming out. That's the word that I want to tell you. Is who is this? This is December. This is Meg. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. I really, really do. Kathleen Cummings, I love you. And I know. All right. Okay. All right. When our daughters are 17, they are our greatest teachers, And she's living on a planet that I certainly don't understand. I cannot imagine what it is to have lived the last 17 years and no others. The worldview that you get, your understanding of how the world works, so different. I was 17 in the 60s. What's that? No, the 70s, early 70s. But yeah, very, very different. Kathleen Cummings, I do know your birth date. I know what color is your path. Do you mind if I share it? Can you give me permission in the comments? She said, pulling out the pen. This is I have to confess, I'm surprised that people are up this early on a Sunday. I'm delighted, absolutely delighted. And yeah, this is good. This is nice. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. And I have to say, I don't know how many, I know some people are connected with the host company, with Ashley Darling. This is such a, yes, this is such a really, really nice and good event. I'm enjoying it massively. And Kathleen, your path, and it's very much on the spiritual plane. Everything about your life has been developing you spiritually, has been, it's often not made any sense if you think about it. It hasn't made sense even emotionally. And what's the other one? Physical, mental, emotional. Yeah, mentally, physically there have been difficulties. There has been stuff. Hello, cousin Kathy, thank you for being here. I often quote Gary Zukav, who talks about his book The Seat of the Soul. It's really good if you're just starting out on this kind of work. Not numerology, but spiritual development. He talks about when we're born, we are entering into the earth school. We're here to learn particular lessons. Kathleen is not doing Humanity 101. Kathleen is doing like her 4th doctorate. And it has been a life with so much breadth on really peculiar levels, and it's because she is developing her spirit. She is, and you are. I know you're here in the room. You're growing your soul in remarkable ways that most of us can't even imagine. You bring a breadth of experience and a spiritual flavor to what you do. You set this example where you do not prioritize the physical. You're not terribly concerned with profit motives and things like that. You are about the essence of people. You're about honoring the souls of other people, and that's not an easy role to have in this society where we think, we can sacrifice 1% of the people because we need the economy moving. So not an easy life by any stretch, but hugely spiritual and growing. It is lovely. What are you laughing at? Kathy Dalby at 2 p.m. I'm delighted to see you. Yes, I'm a 28 too, Nikki. I don't know. I'm 28th March. Kathy, you're, and I probably should know this because I've no doubt greeted you on a birthday. Your day and month of your birth, and we're doing a container path. Now, obviously, if you come see me, do the big sales pitch. We can chart the whole of your life, and it's really very cool. It's an awesome system. Okay, youngest pressed, October 24th. Okay, ooh, nice. So your energy in your container is 5. And that is one of the physical numbers. The 4 and the 5 are the physical numbers. So you are conceivably a person who works with physical things, and whether that's as a maker or as some kind of physical transformation that happens under you're younger than 17, so it isn't happening yet. But it means that your container, the pattern that is set, the choice that you made by coming on that day, allows you to work your whole life within the physical world. You're here to help us change the physical world. Oh, you could be an awesome influence as we go forward into whatever post-pandemic world looks like. The ability to deal with physical realities, physical things, understanding how we need to adapt and change, because that 5 is a very good expansive growing energy as well as being physical. So that is really, really cool. All right. Okay, this is you said Violet. Lovely name. Lovely name that begins with a 4, which is also a physical number. Very, very centered and stable. And I mean your other numbers can influence the degree of that centeredness, but it is there and it is achievable if you're not feeling it. Okay, and you might not be feeling it if you're younger than 17. You're coming to it. You're awesome. You're a child. Anybody under 20 is a child of the millennium. I love these young people. They are so different than people were when I was young. And they're so clever and so connected and so amazing. I absolutely love it. Okay, 11th of May, Kathy Dalby Anderson. You have a 3. So I think we were talking about this before you got here. 3 is one of the emotional number. Oh, this is true. So your container is on the emotional plane. So the household that you came to, the first family who provided the environment for you to grow into your intentions, they provided the environment where emotional expression was going to be one of your challenges. And the whole of your life, everything else that you achieve is always not bounded by it, because it isn't a limit. It's like an oxygen tent. You're inside this environment that allows you to grow the way that you came to do that, right? And we're in a time, you're born in 60, you say. How we express emotions in modern times, I'm sure even in Scotland, I'm not in Scotland, I got to move to a different expressive geography, but I am sure the children of Scotland are not like the children of the 1960s in Scotland. So your ability to express emotions, very often that's been a challenge, because it wasn't, it's shut up or I'll give you something to cry about. Learning to find the balance, because we could have stayed in spirit if we didn't want to feel the physical sensations and the emotional waves that are part of being in a physical body. We came here to feel that. So being disconnected from it makes absolutely no sense and isn't about soul growth. So your container for growing your soul and for developing your spirit is about overcoming that programming it was lies, Kathy. It was all lies. Know that. They may not have made a plan at breakfast to tell us lies all day, but that's what they did. Our parents, our schools, our government, our media, they were not, and even I'm not saying they were malicious about it, they were trying to prepare us to be good adults in 1960 and 65. And we're not living in 1960 and 65. We're living a totally different world, and we need different skills. So working within those parameters is really interesting. Alison, I think you're saying that makes sense for your girls. I'm delighted to hear that. That's so good. I'm supposed to do the housekeeping. When you make comments, each comment counts as a ballot and goes into the draw for the grand prize that will be drawn this evening or late this afternoon, after we're finished anyway. And yeah, so thank you for that, and keep the comments coming. It's awesome. I love because this is such an interactive thing. I've got comments out the wazoo. It's wonderful. I am all about numerology. You can see, this is my website, joleith.com. You can go there and learn about the different readings and things that I do. Of course, right now I'm online. I'm not going to people's houses for house parties or anything like that. I'm using Zoom, I'm using Facebook Video Messenger, and I can do FaceTime, and I can do a telephone call if that's the technology that you prefer. Numerology and card readings. I have a special right now because Tuesday, which is coming very close, May the 12th, it is my 50th anniversary of arriving in Canada, which is terribly exciting, and I'm so grateful to be here. So for the month of May, my anniversary month, I am offering readings 50 minutes for $50. And that's good for the month. So you can find that on my website at the readings tab. And I've also got another week, and I might extend it. I don't know. If there's demand, I will extend. Back in December, I set a special for the first 20 weeks of 2020, doing a 20-point numerology chart, charting out your name as well as your birth date in a fair amount of detail, for $220, which usually costs more. And what else have I got going on? I have waived, while we're in the lock-in, I have waived the minimum number of participants for house party stuff. We can do it together on Zoom, but if you don't have 3 people or 4 people that you want to be with doing a reading, I used to do like girls' night in, right? They've got wine and cheese in the kitchen, and people would come into my space and have a card reading or a similar thing. And it was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it, but of course we're not able to do that right now. So everybody's gone quiet. Oh, all right. Yes. Oh, good. Kathy saying this makes sense. Oh, that's good. You see, you're doing your work, Kathy. And the thing is this you? Yeah. The outer, so you're working within that as the container, and then when you get to, I don't remember what your 2 and 5, 6, 3. Okay, so when you turn 33, you got to the number 7 on this grid and turned around and went back that way, and you get a different calculation for that path. And it may be, and I'm not going to do it, because if I do it for you, I have to do it for everybody, and I'm not gonna. But that is also a chart that's available on my website to get your intentional path figured out in detail and see where where it is that you're working to develop. This is good. I'm evidently this there's a fair delay between when you type and when I see it. So be aware that I'm not ignoring you. I'm not right now. I'm just not getting any new messages coming through, and that's okay too. What am I telling you? You're going to be in the draw. You can go. Oh, I have a Facebook page called Exploring Paths to Cosmic Wisdom. And I'm told that if you search my name in Facebook, it will pop up. And I've been doing lives on there, and I've said I will do them throughout the lock-in. I'm in Eastern time zone in North America. 2 o'clock on Fridays. I'm on live, and at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays, I'm on live. So I would love to see you there and explore some of the other things that I'm doing, and very often the same things. But stuff changes. The date changes. The numbers change. We change. And I do quite a lot of the card reading, which is always different. We always get the card we need. Excuse me, just. And my website, I do have a which oh dear, counterintuitive camera. I go the wrong way every time. If you go there, I have a newsletter that I put out, not too often, usually about 3 times a month at the most. But it lets you keep track. When we're not locked in, I do pop up at different rock shops and crystal shops, and down at Otherworld Metaphysical, and over in Wakefield at End of the Line. Wonderful little store. And hopefully, I'm hoping, my plan originally for this year was to go and tour some of the stores in Southern Ontario. So those plans are on hold for sure. But you can sign up on my website for that newsletter, and there's lots of stuff on my on my website, lots of content. I wrote a weekly blog for 5 years and then scaled it back to 3 times a month. But all of those blogs are there. They go back to 2012. Yes, I can do Noah and Adam. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Oh, caffeine is my friend. Okay. So we'll start with June 25th. 25th. I wrote a 6 because my brain went to June. Okay. 25. Okay. Noah, this makes sense. Noah has a mental container. Very thinky. That is true about Noah, or what I know of him. He looks for the rational and the logical, and that makes sense. Sometimes the way Spock was confused by humanity, I think there's a flavor of that in Noah sometimes. That's I hadn't processed it quite that way before. But yes, he's getting so it's emotional. It's not emotional. It is mental. His container is on the mental plane. He's all about sometimes intellectualizing and definitely being really thinky, and that means sometimes a bit disconnected from the emotional, and that maybe comes later in his path. But as a young man, and until I'm thinking he's 20 this year, would make him a 2000 baby, right? So that's a 2. So 7 and 6 is 4, 5, 6. So until he's 30, he's primarily functioning at the mental level, and thinking, being rational, being a little bit rigid, I think. And fairly, it's a 1, so there's a strong sense of who he is, which when we're 20 is coming from a place of limited experience because he's 20. So that's interesting that for the rest of the life he's going to be functioning within that framework that has been set for him while he's young. And very cool. I know you encourage thinking and intellectualizing, as you should. And that fits what I know about Noah. I hope that makes sense to you. All right. And Adam, I hope you're getting a chance to spend some time with your boys on Mother's Day. Adam is 22 in May. Seriously? So this is the same. He is. That's interesting, because I would have said there's so many differences between him and Noah. And of course, there's lots of other stuff where they're very different. But in terms of, and I suppose they've grown up, they're not so far apart in age. They've grown up in the same environment and been exposed to the same stuff. And they chose to come to you in order to be in that. So he too is more thinky. He's actually more thinky than I would have expected, but I don't spend a lot of time with him. There's a quest for making sense of the world, and maybe that's how that would be true for Noah as well. Because when you're as young as they are, under 20, they are different. Yes, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be an emotional container, but it isn't. But I think the idea of looking for a way to make it make sense is part of what that one is containing for them. Both really profoundly clever young people. They are delightful. They're born like the daughters I was just with. They're born in the millennium. They're so cool. I love the children of the twos. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I don't think I've done a full reading on Adam. We have to do that one day. And yes, of course, they're sleeping. They're young. Growing bodies, growing minds. It is not a bad thing. Not at all. No, they got a spiritual mom who has learned to express emotions in a very amazing way. It explains, though, because they don't get emotions. They want to see logic and sense and rationality, and that's kind of their set point. And you, as their mom, are way outside of it. And that's a wonderful balance for them to learn from. They came to be your teachers. You came to be their teacher, and it would be really boring if you were all just sitting around like 3 cornflakes floating in milk, right? The difference is where the learning is. That's where the growth is. That's where the expansion comes from. So yes, sometimes it feels like conflict, but like I talk about with 7 energy, in the moment it feels like a tragedy and a disaster, and then when we look back we go, oh, what a good thing that happened. And I think some of your conflict, when these boys are in their 30s, they're going to look back and genuinely appreciate what an awesome mom they had and how valuable are the differences between you. Yeah, when you're 17, 18, 19, they may not feel very valuable, but when you look back, you will see. And yeah, they're good boys. Good boys. All right. Is anybody else here? They made me change my software, and I don't see eyeballs anymore, the little eye icon. It doesn't tell me how people are looking. And it no longer tells me. I used to get I think it was a green bar that would say, Kathleen Cummings has arrived, has joined. And I'm not getting those. I have no idea who's here, who's not, who's what, who's which. Cousin Kathy is I think still here. She posted some pictures the other day of my mum's mum and her mum's mum. We're the same granny. So it was really nice to see a picture of my Granny Mary. And especially, yes, as everybody's talking about mothers, it was very, very nice. Okay, has everybody gone? There is no Facebook Live police. I don't have to stay here for the full hour if there isn't a reason to. Everybody who has made comments, if you're here, and if you're, yeah, they will all get counted. Oh, hello. Good. You're so patient and lovely, Kathy. I appreciate you. It feels like, I know we're traveling by mouse, but even so, it feels like you're coming a long way in order to be here. And I love that you attend my events. I really do. And I still say, although at the moment I'm really quite busy, but I do want to schedule some kind of a FaceTime with you so that we can spend some time together. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it is lovely. And thank you. I'm not sure where else we can go. Not sure at all. I'm going to be back. I have to, I'm not certain of the schedule, and I'm not seeing the document in front of me. I think it's 11 o'clock. No, it'll be 11 or it might be 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to minimize this screen. I'm sorry, but I need to look at this. Okay, it's Sunday, 1 o'clock Joe and 5 o'clock Joe. And the closing posts will be around 21 when they do the draw, because it's going to take that long to count all the ballots. All right. Eric, hello, my darling. Hello, my love. Thinking about your mom today, for sure. For sure, for sure. All right. So we're doing Intention Path. It's Sunday morning. Aren't you supposed to be in church? Doing the Intention Path. And I can do the I was going to say post your birth date. You can post your permission for me to do this, because I think I do know your birth date. Well, that's interesting, and not necessarily where I would have guessed. You're in church and here? Is that this you can maybe I'm getting a buzz. Why am I getting a buzz? There's oh, it's a not yet. Okay. I don't know what some kind of software trying to get my attention. And thank you, Kathy. I saw your response that yes, we should, because it feels very wrong that you are obliged to sit and look at me for such a long time every time you come to a live, and I never get to put my eyes on your lovely face. So that we yes, we're going to make a plan. This week we'll make a plan. This week I'm very busy, but I'm planning into next week, so it's all good. All right, so Eric, are you there? Have you? Yes. The container, the first, which for you 3 is 2. So until you were 32, was a big change when you were 32. I do not remember that, but I was okay. Yeah, well, you were coming up to a huge change. It is claiming for you a container within your life about resting on the emotional plane. And actually, now that I think about it, yes, that is absolutely correct. Being in a circumstance where emotions were not necessarily processed in a daily matter of fact kind of way. A lot of stuff was getting stuffed. There were things not being said. There wasn't a lot of really good modeling around how we work with our emotions. And I think what I know of your earliest childhood, that would absolutely make sense. But what that has done is set you a fascinating container inside which to work and to develop your own emotional literacy and your own having to make your own path, because you can't fall back on this is how we always did it in my family, because you have to admit, and you have the intelligence to admit, that this is how it didn't get done in your family. We just pretended things away. So your accomplishments going forward as you move around this intentional path to your center, it's always going to be in a context of processing emotions, of being present for other people's emotions, for recognizing them within yourself, making choices about how you're going to bring those out, how to process them, whether you share them, whether you don't, whether you write them down and burn them, whatever it is. There's always going to be the emotional part of you requiring your attention. That's what it comes to. and you know enough from your childhood that you can't ignore it away, because it will fester if you try to do that, and you're too smart for that anyway. So that's really kind of cool. I did not know that about you. I guess I've never charted that part of your date. That's cool. We'll have to do the full path one day. It's yeah, interesting. So thank you for being here. Have you met my cousin Kathy? She's here from Scotland right now. Eric is my stepson, and he's here in Ottawa. He's, I guess, kind of the reason that I'm in Ottawa. Slowly but surely, we coordinated. Yeah, it's oh, Scott is here too. Have I done Scott? I must have done Scott. Okay, so Scott saw purple all the time. Well, not all the time. Not like. That's. I know Kathleen's entire path is just purple. Scott's is not, but his container is on the spiritual plane. He is here very deliberately expanding his spirit, and everything he does in his whole life is inside this container of spiritual development. And that, of course, is two-sided. It's about developing your own spirit while at the same time providing space for other people to develop theirs in a very fair and non-judgmental way. You are really, really good at just holding space for other people to do what they need to do, but you hold that safe container for others as well as for yourself. And I know the two of you hold space for each other. And I really love it when my family there and my family here are talking to each other. It makes me verklempt. It's amazing. So Scott, I shouldn't have looked. Your entire life, and we know 168 is a okay, 6, 7, 8. So until you were 28, you were in this container. These and that's what set the pattern going forward. So as with any first pinnacle, with any development of the container, it includes your first family, your first jobs, your first relationships, all of your education, often your first jobs. So all of those things combined to construct a spiritual content. Oh, I'm having a deja. Have we done this somewhere, you and I? Because I've had this conversation before. That's wild. The spiritual container in which your life is blossoming, and even though it's called a container, and when we rate it in 2 dimensions, it's that one path in that space, but there's a sort of a blossoming that allows you to move into all the other aspects of your life and all the aspects of your future and your relationships. That is incredibly progressive in the spiritual sense of that word. That we're back at you becoming more of yourself, becoming deeper and more textured, and when you return to non-physical at the end of this human experience, you will be much enriched because of how you've conducted yourself here in this he doesn't remember. Oh, that's so odd, because I'm like this exact, or some of these exact things. Amazing. All right, so how are we doing? We're your comments are going to get put in as ballots for the grand draw, and Yeah, so, and I would encourage you, anybody who's not getting my newsletter, please head over to joleith.com and sign up. It isn't onerous and it doesn't cost anything, and it's easy to hit delete. You're welcome, my darling. It's rather lovely of you to show up here. I just clued in that you're here. Thank you. Thank you. I saw your post this morning. Thank you for that as well. I feel as though there's something else I should be telling you. Sign up for the newsletter. Go to the Facebook Exploring Paths to Cosmic Wisdom and like and follow me there, and then you can come to some more free lives every week. That's always fun, and I'm really enjoying doing it and having a wonderful weekend. I should have had a crib sheet. I don't, because I've not been up very long because I was here late. But don't know. Any more questions? Any more comments? Anybody feeling as though I didn't address their stuff? If I missed anybody, because this it's an unpredictable scroll on here. Sometimes when somebody comes in and says something, it automatically rolls up, and sometimes it doesn't, and I suddenly realize I've lost comments or missed comments. I was busy last night, Eric. Too true. It was after 1 o'clock this morning before I was even in my bed. And that is not normal for me. Anybody who knows me knows that. Laurie, hi, how good to see you. This is great. I've been doing intentional path containers. So I'm taking your day and month of birth and doing a quickie to see on which plane your life path is contained, if that makes any sense at all. So if you're willing to give me your day and month, I will certainly do it. Yes, you're allowed to be late to the party. I like how you're doing this. You're just racking up ballots for the draw, aren't you? I love it. Okay, 25th October. Did I do you recently? That's I've done somebody on the 25th of October, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so your container is green. You're on the emotional plane. So your first pinnacle has been, we've seen a few of these this morning, and I don't know how long you've been here. If you've been listening, then I'm going to go into a rerun mode now. I'm sorry, but oh, okay, good. So until your late 20s or early 30s, you're green emotional. Green is the color of the heart chakra. So the emotional plane, it expresses as green because that's where we often experience our emotions. Yeah, it is, absolutely. Your first family and the formation of how you're approaching life, how you are walking your intentional path, is within a context of working with emotions. And that I have seen doing charts, it's very often because your early years there was not facility in expressing emotions, and it's something that then becomes the background to your growth going forward, and an awareness of them, that somebody it's that whole, a fish doesn't notice that it's swimming in water. We don't pay a lot of attention to the air that we walk through. For you, emotions are something that you kind of have to work with, because it's not always, it hasn't always been a natural thing to just process them as if they were part of life, which they are, and which you came to understand. You came into this situation on this day to work with the contrasts that emotions bring us, and they're so important. If we didn't have the depth of sorrow that we sometimes feel, we wouldn't appreciate the heights of joy when we get to those, and we wouldn't be striving for joy and looking for all the good things in life that there's so much that the physical world has to offer us that can bring us amazing joy and happiness and love and all of that positive stuff. It's that whole, if it didn't get dark, we wouldn't be able to see the stars, right? So your life, your intention in this life is to work with that. Good morning, Karen. I recognize that name too. We're at 4 minutes and closing because somebody else is supposed to come on at 10. I don't want to be in their space. But Karen, if you would tell me your day and month, I will try up birth. Yes, my day and month of what? When I bought my fridge. I'm charting the outside the container of your intentional path, and as I do it, it will make more sense, I hope. And this is going slowly now. It's lovely that you got here. Thank you, Laurie. I hope that made sense to you. Okay. And my coffee went cold. It's only been an hour since I sat down. Okay, yes, absolutely. But Laurie, I'd love to hear from you. I think, yeah, okay. Oh, really cold, but it's got a nice kick. Okay, Karen. There we go. Okay, so you're another emotional number. Yes. So again, it's green. I'm going to be really lazy because we have to. I do have to get off this channel. Your container looks like this. I don't know if you have been here, listening to me talking about these green containers and the work of choosing to come into the human experience. You could stay in spirit and everything be lovely. When you come to be a human, all of a sudden you have to deal with a whole lot of needs and wants and wishes and desires and sorrows and joys and all of those contrasts. I don't know if you're familiar with the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but they talk a great deal about contrast. That's what we're here to find, and that is what progresses us as we experience the contrast between things. That's how we learn which direction we choose to expand in. So you and a lot of people this morning have shown that you've come to a life circumstance where dealing with emotions was something you had to learn. It wasn't necessarily modeled for you or just a part of the normal everyday. It's something that becomes a part of your life work as you walk the rest of the path, which I can chart for you if you'd care to go to jolith.com and scroll down the readings tab and find out about that. So I have to go. Thank you, everyone, for being here. All of your the comments will get counted, and you will. Thanks, Karen. You will be entered in the draw, which is happening. It turns out 9 o'clock tonight, which is really late, but I guess it takes that long to count everything. Really, really appreciate you being here. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Mother's Day, and celebrate whatever form mothering energy has taken in your life, whether it's a particular person or a particular circumstance or situation, and however you express the mothering energy within you. Kathleen, thank you so much for being here. My greetings to all of the family and to your mom, Kathy in Scotland. And I will be back at, what did we say, 1 o'clock? I'm back at 1. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe some cards again. So I would love to see you all. Contact your friends. Come on in. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Yes, thanks, Kathy. And I have to sign off. So thank you very much, everyone. Talk to you later.